I want to kick off this video by saying that there are a lot of awesome Xbox One games, and maybe you're an Xbox person, maybe you're a PlayStation person, I don't know, perhaps you're a fan of both of them. No matter what platform you play on, there are also plenty of horrible games right there waiting for you guys. What is up, guys? Jimmy or Chaos. Welcome to Chaos Top 10s. Tonight, we're gonna go over a pretty crazy list. We are going to be counting down the 10 worst Xbox One games. Now, if you guys would like to see this for the PlayStation 4 as well, drop a like on this video right now so we can keep things fair. In order to be eligible for this list, a game simply needs to have been released for the Xbox One. It did not have to be an exclusive, okay? So let's get started. Be sure to enter the monthly $200 Amazon gift card here on the channel. It's really easy to enter. All you have to do is like the video, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and turn on your notifications for a chance to win. Leave a comment why you want it with your Twitter handle, and I will pick the winner at the end of the month. Good luck. Kicking off our list at number 10 today is Troll and I. This is an action-adventure game released in early 2017 that was heavily inspired by games like Shadow of the Colossus and The Last Guardian. You played as a young boy named Otto as he befriends a giant troll, and you then have to work together to solve puzzles and defeat enemies. The game was crowdfunded, and it was developed by Spiral House and published by Maximum Games to negative reviews from critics and gamers who all felt it just missed a lot of potential. The gameplay was very repetitive, and the graphics were unimpressive, resulting in a game that just wasn't very interesting when it should have been a great story. As of right now, Troll and I is sitting with a 33 out of 100 critic score and a 5.0 out of 10 for score on Metacritic, so not many people liked it. At number 9, we have Alekine's Gun. This stealth action game could have been really cool, as it told the story of a group of secret agents during a tense conflict in between World War II and the Cold War, but everything pretty much fell apart during the development of the game. Upon release in early 2016, Alekine's Gun received very poor reviews from critics and gamers due to its bad graphics, its extremely buggy gameplay, its uninteresting story, and we could go on and on. At the time of the recording of this video, Alekine's Gun has a 33 critic score and a 2.4 user score on Metacritic. Funny enough, this game was developed and published by Maximum Games, the same company that published Troll and I, giving them 2 spots in a row so far on this list of worst Xbox One games. I'm not sure if that's really a title you want to have, though. At number 8, we have Road Rage, and this one, this is pretty bad, okay? Road Rage is a vehicular combat game, which you probably already guessed, released in November of 2017 that was supposed to be a spiritual successor to the Road Rash series. Do you guys remember that all the way back on the Sega Genesis? But it ended up just representing all the problems that franchises have had instead of highlighting what made it so fun. Road Rage was just an underwhelming game that didn't excel in any department, and the countless bugs and glitches did not help its case either. Right now, Road Rage is sitting at a 33 critic score on Metacritic, and while there aren't enough user reviews for it to have an official score, every single user review so far has been negative, so things aren't looking really good in that category either. So while the Xbox One version of Road Rage wasn't quite as bad as the PS4 version, it was still pretty horrible. At number 7, this is action-packed, okay? Professional Farmer 2017. While I may not fully understand why a lot of people love games like this, I know that there are plenty of them out there, so I'm not going to say too much about that. But what I will say is that chances are no one is rushing out to buy Professional Farmer 2017, regardless of how much you actually enjoy simulation games. This farming simulator was destroyed by critics for how underwhelming it was and the lack of actual content. The game also boasted insanely long load times, and it reportedly would often drop down to around 20 frames per second. One review from NZ Gamer stated that it was slightly better than being run over by a tractor. So, I guess that's something, right? Right now, Professional Farmer 2017 is sitting with a 33 critic score on Metacritic. At number 6, we have Giana Sisters Dream Runners. If the name Giana Sisters sounds familiar, it's because the original game in the franchise was such a famously blatant ripoff of Super Mario Bros. That Nintendo actually had to threaten the developers with legal action to get it taken off the shelves. The series actually continued after that controversy though, but it didn't get much better as all of the titles have either flown under the radar or gotten bad reviews. Dream Runners was the best of both worlds, as it was a multiplayer-focused platformer released in 2015 that flew under the radar and got bad reviews. Giana Sisters Dream Runners featured bad controls, numerous technical issues, and the fact that it was multiplayer-focused, and that ended up killing it quickly, as the poor sales made playing online pretty much impossible. Nobody wanted to play it. Nobody was on to play it. Right now, Dream Runners is sitting with a 32 critic score and a 4.7 user score on Metacritic. Cracking into the top 5, and I hate the fact that Ghostbusters has gotten such a negative light in movies and video games lately. The classics were amazing, but I have to do this. Ghostbusters. Developed by Fireforge Games and published by Activision, this movie tie-in game was for all of you who couldn't get enough of the 2016 Ghostbusters reboot. It was a twin-stick shooter with a new cast of characters and events that took place after the movie ended, and the whole thing was put together in less than 8 months. Upon release, the game was destroyed by critics and gamers who criticized its awful visuals and writing, and the fact that it was going to cost you $50 to get your hands on it, which, I mean, let's face it, that was insanely overpriced for the actual length of the campaign, which was about 4 hours. Right now, Ghostbusters 2016 is sitting at a 32 critic score and an abysmal 0.2 user score on Metacritic. That's pretty rough. At number 4, we have a game that just could have been amazing. It could have been legendary. It could have been epic. Soda Drinker Pro. Released in 2016, Soda Drinker Pro is a simulation game where you drink soda. That's it. The game was developed by Will Beerley in less than 24 hours and published by SnowRunner Games, and it surprisingly got solid reviews from gamers, but negative reviews from critics. While the critics hated it for the poor visuals and the pointless gameplay, users were more forgiving. You got exactly what you paid for. A soda drinking simulator. Right now on Metacritic, the Xbox One version of Soda Drinker Pro is sitting with a 30 critic score and a 5.9 user score. Maybe the gamers looked at it as a troll and they appreciated that, so they showed it a little bit of love. I don't know. I think I'm going to go try it out. At number 3, we have Rockin' Racing Off-Road DX. Released in late 2015, this game advertises itself as the most entertaining and exciting racing game around, offering various modes and tracks as well as loads of rock and roll music. You know a game is going to be bad when the Xbox One game description lists features for the Wii U gamepad. That's right. Rockin' Racing Off-Road DX is just a buggy racing game with bad physics, bad AI, and a lack of content that will make you want your money back. Right now, the game is sitting with a 29 critic score on Metacritic, and surprisingly, it sold well enough to get a port over the Nintendo Switch in late 2017, but that didn't really help anything because that version is sitting with a score of 2.4. At number 2, we have Fighter Within. This fighting game was developed by Dayoka and published by Ubisoft for the Xbox One in November of 2013 as a launch title for the new console and as a way of showing off how awesome the Kinect was, right? Did it work? I'll let you guys answer that question. Fighter Within took a concept that a lot of people were interested in, a motion-controlled fighting game, and for all we know, it could have been awesome if the Kinect had actually worked properly, but because it didn't, the game was horrible and borderline unplayable. And honestly, I don't blame the developers for this game being so bad because I imagine it's pretty hard to program a game that uses full body motion control when the controller doesn't even work properly. And right now, Fighter Within is sitting with a critic score of 23, which is really, really low, and a user score of 2.8 to match on Metacritic. And finally, what do you think the worst Xbox One game is in the world? I mean, it's a subjective list, obviously, and I want to know in the comment section what game you think is the worst. There's a lot of bad ones out there, okay? We had to narrow it down to 10. I'm going to go with Rugby 15. Does anybody remember this game? I mean, do you remember this game? It's bad. Rugby 15 is a rugby game, obviously, developed by HB Studios and published by, guess who? Maximum Games, giving them 3 of the top 10 worst reviewed Xbox One games so far. Rugby 15 was a train wreck of a sports game featuring tons of glitches, awful controls, bad graphics, and countless other issues that make you wonder why it was ever allowed to release in the first place. Official Xbox Magazine UK called Rugby 15 the worst sports game they had ever played, while IGN called it an utter disaster. Ouch. Right now, Rugby 15 is sitting with a 20 critic score and a 3.1 user score on Metacritic. It was that bad that they probably should have issued refunds. And there you have it, my friends. Those are 10 of the worst Xbox One games ever made, ever reviewed, ever scored. You guys let me know where we got it right. Where did we get it wrong? What games did we miss that should have made it on this list? Do we have enough to do another list in the future? You guys let me know. Make sure you turn on your notifications. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed. And I'll see you guys tomorrow night for a brand new one.